Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're all well wherever you are and whatever you're up to. I'm Lauren and I'm back in the shop again today to show you my roundup of all the new fabric arrivals that we have had in the G&G shop over August. There's so much, I felt quite overwhelmed when I was getting them all out. There's some really lovely new things that I've got to show you today. So what I'll do is run through them all, give you lots of close-ups and ideas of what you can sew with them, and I'll put timestamps on the video as well that sort of mark out the different types of fabric that I'm talking about. So if there's a particular type of fabric that you want to jump to, you can just hover over that timeline and then you can skip to that part. Remember, there'll also be a blog post that goes along with this video, and in that blog post I'll link all of the fabrics that I mentioned, so that's the easiest way to find a fabric on the website that is included in this video. But you can of course always just check out the just arrived section of the website too, which will show the very latest new fabrics. Things get added all the time, every week, so it's the best place to keep up to date because sometimes things come in there and they sell really quickly. So first of all, I'm going to show you some cottons. I'm going to move on to viscoses. I've got a little bit of stretch, and then I've got some nice winter fabrics as well. So a really big selection of stuff. But I wanted to show you, first of all, potentially quite controversial, but I've got some Christmas fabrics to show you. They do tend to come out in the summertime, I guess, or like at the end of the summer, I guess, just so that it gives you plenty of time to get ahead for your Christmas crafting. So there's just a few to show you really. We've got a Liberty one, which I don't think Liberty have ever done a Christmas fabric before on their classic Tana lawn base. So this is like the classic cotton lawn fabric that you know and love from Liberty, and it's got so many beautiful details in it. When you look closely at this print, you just spot so many more different things, from an elephant holding up some mistletoe to some fairy lights, presents, lions, owls, you know, there's all sorts going on in here. It's a really lovely, interesting print. So you can make clothes from it, of course. You can make like a nice little top or a little blouse, but good for crafting projects as well. So a nice versatile, fun fabric there. And then we've also had a couple of the Dashwood Studio Advent Calendar panels come in. So some of you might have seen this format of Advent panel before. So the way that it comes is that you buy it by the panel, and in a panel you get every, you know, a sort of patch, I guess, if you like, for the whole of December. And the way that it works is that these rows of fabric here get folded into wee pockets and sewn on like a backing section of the panel that looks like this. So then you end up with these rows with lots of little pockets. I'll probably do a tutorial and a blog post sort of nearer the time to show you how to do it, but it's pretty easy. And once you've got the pockets sewn onto that backing fabric, then you can just pad the whole calendar out a little bit more. Sometimes you can put wadding in the back too if you want, and then back it either with just like a really simple plain, you know, calico fabric or something. If you're going to be hanging it against the wall, you obviously won't see it anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much what you put on the back, and then you can put a nice border around it too, or nice trim around it. So yeah, we've got two designs of this one, this format of Advent panel, the more kind of Christmassy one, and then we've got one that's a bit more sort of subdued, kind of nice tonal grey colours, but it's really cute as well. And yeah, it just works in the same way. You sort of fold those pockets and iron them onto that backing fabric. So yeah, a little bit of Christmas inspiration for you there. And then we've also had a couple of more of the Rifle Paper Garden Party collection. This collection's sort of been coming in dribs and drabs, but we've had a few new prints to add to the other selection of fabrics we already have from that collection. So this one is on just the classic sort of quilting cotton weight. It's more like a medium weight fabric. You could use clothes with it, you could make clothes with it, but it has a lot more structure to it, so just sort of bear that in mind. Otherwise, really good for nice little sort of craft or home interiors projects. It's lovely, such beautiful details in those prints, really nice colours too. And then this one's a cotton linen mix, so it's just a little bit heavier. It's nice for bag making. You could line a bag with it and it would be nice and beautiful and fun on the inside, or have it on the outside too. So yeah, just another few more prints to add to that Rifle Paper Garden Party collection. And then we've had quite a few viscose prints in. Some designer ones, some just sort of like regular ones, not associated with a designer name. We've got some new prints from Eglantine and Zoe, which is a French designer, and they get their fabrics made in Portugal. And they're all viscose, but they're sort of different weaves. So we've got a couple of different prints that are on a viscose crepe. So when you look at that, you can just sort of see that the surface of the fabric is just textured a little bit. That's where the sort of crepe part of it comes from, but they're all of them are totally opaque. You can't see through them at all, so they're super versatile. Going to be nice for dresses and tops and jumpsuits, or even sort of lighter weight trousers if you were still sort of looking for something more kind of transitional, and lovely colours as well. So this particular print comes in 3 different colourways, and yes, that's black, that sort of print that's on it with nice splashes of colour as well. And then the other prints that we've got, this one comes in 2 colourways, and this is on a viscose twill weave. So when you look at that, you can see like the little kind of diagonal texture of the fabric really, and that's the twill weave. So it's a little bit heavier, I would say, than like a viscose lawn fabric or a plain weave viscose. It's really nice. You can see it's got beautiful drape, a bit more of a larger scale on that fabric, which is nice. And again, 2 beautiful colourways, so a more sort of tealy petrol one, and then this has got more kind of green tones to it. And then a bit more lighter in colour palette are these fabrics here. So this is the really lovely sort of more yellowy one. It's sun yellow, so it's nice and bright, and it's a viscose crepe, so it's got that nice texture to it as well. And then we've also got that in a really lovely sort of baby powder pink colour too. It's beautiful. Again, really nice drape. I think that would make a lovely little top that you could layer up for the autumn with a cardigan or something. It's really pretty. So they're the new Eglantine and Zoe ones to add to our range of those fabrics that we have. And then also in the more designer vein, we've had another lovely batch of fabrics from the Fabric Godmother collection. So I shall show you them all in the close-up videos, but I've brought a few over that I really like. There's a couple that have a bit more of a sort of smaller scale print to them. So this is one of them here. As you can see, it's got more of a blue colour palette. It's really lovely. So I would say that this is more like a viscose lawn. It's much lighter weight, and it's got a smooth surface to it. So it's just like a regular sort of plain weave. It's not totally opaque. Like, depending on what you were making with it, you may want to line it if it was like a dress or something, but if it's a top or a blouse, say, you wouldn't need to. But yeah, it's lovely if you just want something a little bit smaller scale. It feels lovely and soft. It's beautiful. And then we've also got some more sort of bolder, large scale prints, and I brought this one over to hold up because I think the colours in it are just absolutely beautiful. So this is the Carnival Eco Vero Viscose Crepe. So it's got a little bit more of a texture to it as well, and yeah, the scale of this one is just a little bit bigger. Hopefully you get an idea of that when I hold it up to myself. It's beautiful, and it's going to be really lovely for, I think it would make a really nice dress just because the scale is bigger. But equally nice is just like a simple top or something too. It's really, really pretty. And then possibly my favourite one, this is very slowly creeping onto my I need to make it now list. Sometimes when new fabrics come in, they just sort of haunt me a little bit and I can't stop thinking about them, and this is one of them. I think this would make an absolutely beautiful little blouse. It's got quite a vintage vibe to it. It's a viscose crepe, so really lovely texture on it again. And yeah, it's just so delicate and pretty. So it's like little sort of pink flowers with kind of little blue, very fine brush strokes on it. It's lovely. And we started stocking some of the chalk and notch patterns as paper patterns, and the wren blouse is one of them, and I think it would look lovely as that. So yeah, I've always got so many different samples and things to make for the Sewing Society kits that I don't have a huge amount of time to make other stuff, but that really is playing on my mind, so it may well end up getting sewn sooner rather than later. But yeah, we've got such a lovely selection of loads of the different Fabric Godmother prints now. They're really, really beautiful. A lot of them are based from the pattern archives. They're like vintage prints that are sort of reworked, but then there are some more newer designs that have been designed, specifically for their collection. So those kind of smaller scale ones fit into that category. Yeah, they're just really pretty and just, yeah, a really nice selection building up there. And then we do have some viscose prints that are also equally as lovely, but not necessarily related to like a designer name or a designer brand or whatever. We've got this one here, which is similar to you might remember the garden viscose Dobie one that we had. It's a similar effect in that it's got this sort of metallic Dobie texture woven into it, which is really nice. It's quite subtle. This has got a really nice sort of 60s vibe, I think, with those really nice colours. And that would make a lovely little top or blouse or dress as well. I would say it's pretty opaque, you can't really see through that very much. A really nice weight on that one. And then we've also had this one in a couple of colourways, but unfortunately I only have one colourway to show you here, but we do have more on order. It's almost a bit like a kind of horseshoe print, but then a bit like an animal print as well. It's really nice. I love the colours in that too. It's beautiful. Feels very, very soft. It's just a plain weave viscose, so it's got a sort of smoother finish to it. But yeah, I think that would make a nice little blouse as well. And then there's a couple on the rolls behind me here too that are viscose prints. So this one, which literally has come in the day that I'm filming this video, but it should be online by the time the video actually gets posted. And this is a viscose crepe, so it's got that really lovely texture to it. A gorgeous, nice greeny sort of background with these black spots and then a lovely flower design on it as well. It's beautiful. I think that would be lovely as a little skirt or a little dress. It's really nice. It feels very soft as well. Sometimes I find the viscose crepes they don't feel quite as smooth as the plain weave viscoses, but this one particularly just feels really, really smooth. It's lovely. And then this one here is also really pretty. This is a viscose too, and it is a twill weave, so it's got that sort of diagonal texture to it. Really lovely blue background with these little pink and kind of grey blue flowers on them. Really pretty, and this feels really soft too. Again, totally opaque, so you can't see through it, which is great. You don't have to line it or anything. And yeah, just really lovely sort of drapiness and fluidity to that one. And then we've also got this one, which, oh my goodness, just feels absolutely amazing and very, very luxurious. It's a viscose as well, but it's almost like a sort of satin kind of finish. So it's got a bit more of a sheen to it, which, yeah, just makes it a bit different from the other ones. It's definitely kind of more shiny, but it feels almost silk-like. It is so, so soft. Got this beautiful, beautiful floral design on it, quite a large scale, and I think this would make the most luxurious robe. You could use the Sauvret Sylvia robe for it, or you can even use the named La Haja dressing gown pattern as well, just like a really simple, you know, loose fitting robe that, yeah, would just feel amazing. But equally would look, you know, you could definitely just wear this as like clothes as well, you know, a top or a dress or a blouse or whatever. It's beautiful. I love that one. It feels very, very special. And then moving away from the viscose, 100% viscose prints and everything, but still sticking with the wovens, we have had, and I appreciate this is probably quite late in the summer season, but I saw these fabrics when a supplier came to see us and he only had a little bit left, and I had to just take them, even though I can admit they are quite summery. But you don't see fabrics that are as nice as this quite often, and they are just quite limited availability. I can't get them again because I just got everything that the supplier had available. They are surplus to the garment manufacturing industry. It was a designer in Italy, so they're made in Italy, these fabrics, and yeah, they're just really, really nice. A few different colorways as well. So this one comes in 3 different colorways here, and it is a linen, so it's 100% linen, and it's just got this really lovely print on it. It's beautiful. Almost sort of reminds me maybe like of tiles or something, or sort of, yeah, like nice, fresh, bright, different patterns. I think almost you wouldn't need to necessarily worry about pattern matching. I think you can kind of just go with the flow for this one. But I think this would look really nice maybe as like a sort of oversized summer shirt that you could wear just a white t-shirt under, a white vest top, or a really nice summer dress. It would be beautiful as well. Potentially like a little bit transparent, so you may want to line it, I would just say, with like a cotton voile or a cotton lawn if you were making a dress. But if it was like a sort of garment that you were wearing over something else, then you wouldn't need to. If it was like a kind of beach sort of cover up style thing, it would be beautiful. But yeah, 3 really lovely colours of that one. It's such a lovely fabric, it's beautiful. And then this one, also 100% linen, but a slightly different print, but it kind of feels the same. It's got that same sort of texture to it, this one here. And it's in more of a sort of minty greeny colour, I would say. And then yeah, it's these sort of like abstract liney shapes, but that's really nice as well. Feels nice and soft, and yeah, because it's linen, it's just got that gorgeous texture to it. So yeah, a few summer gems, which I know we're kind of pushing it, really, being in the UK and hoping that we're still going to get really summery weather, but definitely worth a stash for something next year, because fabrics as pretty as this on a linen do not come up very often, which is why I wanted to snap them up, even though it is kind of past that summer season. And then the last fabric in the woven category, which is a bit on its own, but it is very, very nice as well. Again, I can appreciate it's probably still a bit of a summery colour, but it is just such a lovely fabric. It is a cotton with a little bit of elastane in it, so it's got a nice bit of stretch and just a really nice weight, and this would be perfect for a nice pair of trousers or a little skirt, something like that. So I would say it's more like a bottom weight type of fabric. It's really nice, and it's got this sort of texture woven into it as well. Almost looks a bit like a very kind of light coloured chambray kind of fabric, because the threads that have woven it are white and blue. So yeah, it's got a really nice sort of tonal texture to it. And yeah, just feels really, really lovely and soft, with a nice bit of stretch too for comfort. So yeah, that is all the woven ones. Then I have got a little bit of stretch fabrics to show you. Kind of moving a little bit more into kind of autumnal vibes now. We've had a few different prints of this really lovely flowery sweatshirting fabric. So if you've had sweatshirting from us before, I'm pretty sure this is the organic one as well. So it's organic cotton sweatshirting, and it's got a really lovely fleecy back, feels super soft. So this is the same type of fabric that the really popular animal print one was on, very similar to the cozy colours as well, so it's really lovely and soft, very cozy, and yeah, just some fun flowery prints on it really. So a couple of colourways of that flower one. I think probably this navy with the ochre and pink flowers is my favourite, and then this one's cute as well. It's got little birds in it too, which is nice, and yeah, I just love that they're sort of colourful and a bit more fun. So if you wanted to add a little bit of a brighter jumper to your collection, if you're like me, you've probably got a collection of jumpers because they're just so nice and easy to make and comfy to wear. A few options there. And then also we have had a new colourway in this popular grid one. So you might remember that the orange, sort of orangey rust one was super popular in this back in the winter. I made a really nice toaster sweater out of this, and now it's come in a lovely pink colourway, which is lovely. It's a really nice sort of bright rich pink. So yeah, it's just the same as the other ones, but a new colourway in that, which is really nice. And then very cute little collection of 4 different colourways of this little doodle bear one. So yeah, good for any kiddos or babies. It's very sweet, and the colours of them are just all so lovely. I couldn't pick what my favourite colours were in this collection, so I just had to get a little bit of all of the colours that were available because it's so nice. Again, it's really nice and soft on the back, so it would feel super cosy. So it is a sweatshirting fabric, but I wouldn't say it's like a really thick heavyweight one. It's nice and sort of lightweight, so yeah, good if you're layering things up for little babies or kiddies into the cooler days here in the UK. And then we have also had 3 colourways of this one, which is a little bit more unusual. We did have a fabric like this quite a few years ago, and I hadn't really seen a nice one since, but this one looks really fun. So it's a quilted fabric, so it's actually made up of like 2 layers of fabric with a kind of like a really fine wadding in between. So it has this kind of like diamond quilted texture, and then kind of like a sort of splodgy kind of animal print on it. So yeah, there's 3 different colourways of this one, and it's going to be good for cardigan patterns, jumper patterns, sweater patterns, those kind of garments. And what I've not actually tested washing a section of this before, but when we had fabric that was very similar to this in the past, usually when you wash it, it kind of plumps up a little bit, and it's almost like the diamond shapes sort of become more defined and more sort of 3D, so it has a really lovely texture to it. So yeah, something a little bit different there for the jumper cardigan category. And then we have had 4 colourways of this one, which is quite interesting. So it is made from recycled cotton, and it's got a sort of chevron texture to it. It is a knit fabric, so it's got a nice bit of stretch. It has elastane in it as well, and it is really good for, I think you can use this to make lots of things. It would be good for sort of lighter weight cardigans. You could make t-shirt patterns with it as well, or you could use it with jumper patterns and it would make more of a sort of lightweight jumper. So yeah, very versatile fabric, feels really nice and soft, and yeah, comes in 4 lovely colourways. So just another sort of alternative option in the kind of stretch knitwear department, which is really nice. And then now moving on to even more sort of autumnal winter fabrics now, we started to get some really nice woolen fabrics in. So one of them is on the roll just behind me here. I'll pull it over, but it does come in 5 colourways altogether. So this is a really lovely sort of minty green colourway here. We've called it Aqua, and as a short haired coating fabric, it's a wool mix, so it's 40% wool, 60% polyester. So as you sort of brush it down, it feels nice and smooth, so it's got a nap to it. So as you cut out the fabric, you'd make sure that as you smoothed it down, it felt nice and smooth. But yeah, it's almost like it's got kind of like a pile to it, really. It's lovely and fluffy, it's gorgeous. And yeah, it just comes in some really beautiful, more kind of unusual colourways as well. So perfect really for coat making. It is a coating fabric, so your classic coat patterns like Sapporo coat, the paper cut Sapporo, or the closet core clear coat, the grain line Yates coat. There's loads of lovely coat patterns that you could take a look at. And they would all be good for that sort of fabric. And then finally, I have managed to get a really nice range of lining fabrics in, as in the classic sort of slippery lining fabrics where you want to be able to slip the clothes on and off easily. So good for coats and jackets when you're probably wearing them with a long sleeved garment underneath and you need your sleeves to be able to slip in and out nice and easily. Or like if you were making a skirt or a dress and you were going to be wearing it with tights, then this is the kind of lining that you want, because it's going to slip over the tights or the leggings that you're wearing it with. So they're all acetate and they all have a really lovely sort of texture or design to them. So this particular one here has like a sort of spotty effect woven in, so it just gives it a little bit more texture and makes it sort of look a little bit more interesting or fun in the inside. But all of them have a really nice texture woven into them, so a little bit more unusual and different. I have to admit, I do generally find it a little bit hard to get nice lining fabrics like this, because I tend to just get them from my supplier that gets the fabrics that are again surplus to the garment manufacturing industry, so they tend to just be like whatever's available, as opposed to being able to order like specific colours or specific things. You kind of have to just take what's available. So that's why there's some more sort of unusual colours in there, but they're all just really lovely, and yeah, good for those winter projects when you're looking for more slippery lining. The world of linings can be quite diverse depending on what type of garment you're making and what time of year it is as well. So lining isn't like one specific type of fabric, it's a little bit deeper than that. So these are linings that are for those more wintry projects, and you want the lining sort of slip over other garments that you're wearing it with. Whereas if you were lining like a summer dress or something and you were using a cotton voile or a cotton lawn, then obviously that's different, but it's still classed as lining. So yeah, the word lining is just used in kind of different contexts really, so you just need to check that you're getting the right lining for your project. So I think I've shown you everything. I know there's quite a lot to take in. Remember, it is all in the blog post as well. I'll link all of the fabrics there that I've mentioned in that. and you can check out the Just Arrived section too for even more new things that are arriving all the time. If you've got any questions at all, then remember you can just leave a comment on this video and I can try and get back to you, or you, for a much quicker, reliably quicker answer, you can email the shop on info@guthrie-ganny.co.uk, because the staff monitor that 6 days a week. So it's a good way to get in touch with us quickly if you need to know anything. As ever, if anything's showing out of stock, just let us know and we can tell you when it's come back in again, because we get deliveries all the time. But thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, then just remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!